The lights were electric inside TD Garden, the energy thick enough to feel in your chest. The Boston Celtics, one game up in the series, were stepping onto their home court without their superstar Jason Tatum sidelined with an injury. Across the court, the Orlando Magic smelled opportunity, a weakened giant, a chance to even the series before heading home. But Jaylen Brown had other plans. From the first tip, his eyes had another type of fire. No doubt, no hesitation, just a furious assault, as if he had made up his mind that the Celtics would not lose this evening. Brown didn't merely replace Tatum's absence, he owned it, scoring 36 points, rebounding, sinking three-pointers, and leading with the type of energy that an entire building could draw from. By the end of the last buzzer, Boston had earned a 109-100 win. The Celtics were 2-0. The Garden was thundering, and Jaylen Brown had reminded everyone, this team is made for more than one star. Coming into Game 2, the Boston Celtics had a slim but important 1-0 lead over the Orlando Magic. The first game had shown flashes of just how dangerous Orlando could be, young, athletic, and fearless. They weren't just happy to be here, they were coming for something. And now, with Jason Tatum ruled out, the door creaked open a little wider. Tatum, Boston's leading scorer and emotional anchor, was sidelined by a bruised right wrist suffered late in Game 1. It was a gut punch to a Celtics team that had leaned heavily on his scoring and playmaking all year. The stakes? Massive. In NBA playoff history, teams that go up 2-0 in a best-of-7 series go on to win the series more than 92% of the time. Win this game, and Boston would grab control of the series with two hands. Lose it, and they'd face a fired-up Magic squad with home court advantage shifting to Orlando. TD Garden felt the tension. The fans knew what was at stake. It wasn't just another night at the office. It was a moment where someone had to step up, and Jaylen Brown heard that call louder than anyone. From the tip of the game, it was apparent Jaylen Brown was not going to waste any time. Without Jason Tatum on the court, the Celtics needed someone to take charge, and Brown made it clear he was prepared to be that guy. Boston stormed out with a sudden burst, fueled by Brown's aggressive mentality. He bullied his way to the rim with confidence, hitting mid-range jumpers and driving hard to the loop. Everything screamed the Celtics were not going away without their all-star. But Orlando was set to battle. Under Paolo Banchero's leadership, the Magic kept pace with Boston in the first quarter. 32-point performance started to materialize early on, as he pushed his way into the paint for hard baskets and connect on timely mid-range jumpers to keep Orlando within striking distance. Boston discovered offense outside of Brown as well. White was on point, slicing into open areas and depositing open shots. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis set the pace, dissecting Orlando's defense with intelligent passes and sporadic drives to the rim. The ball movement was crisp, unselfish, and needed to keep the Magic off balance. Despite this, Tatum's absence was missed. There were lulls in the second quarter where the offense bogged down. Shots clanked off the rim and Orlando drew nearer. The Magic, although missing from deep, hung in there with hustle baskets, second-chance buckets, and good old-fashioned effort. Midway through the second quarter, the Celtics' advantage narrowed to a few points. TD Garden became visibly nervous fans standing up during each defensive possession, attempting to will their team back into momentum. And each time the Magic threatened to shift the balance of the game, Jaylen Brown rose. A three-point shot is contested here, a driving and one there. His capacity to make tough plays seem run-of-the-mill was the difference between a narrow lead and catastrophe. At halftime, Boston held on to a narrow lead. It wasn't dominance yet, but it was a survival based on toughness, ball movement, and Jaylen Brown's relentless refusal to let the moment get away. When the third quarter got underway, there was a sense in TD Garden, a hum, an anticipation that someone had to take a hold of this game. Jaylen Brown did more than that. He tore it away. Brown exploded out of the locker room with a ferocity Orlando couldn't match. In just the first few minutes of the third, he buried a clean pull-up three over Paolo Banchero's outstretched arms. Next possession, Brown slashed down the lane, took a bump, and finished a tough-and-one layup. letting out a roar as the crowd erupted. You could observe it in his body language. He was focused, unafraid, unstoppable. The Magic sent defenders at him, Banchero, Franz Wagner, but it didn't work. Brown scored from anywhere. Catch-and-shoot threes, mid-range pull-ups, drives to the basket through traffic. He outscored Orlando's entire team at times, turning momentum firmly in Boston's favor. Each time Orlando attempted to answer back, Jaylen responded with yet another dagger, a deep three, a hard foul line jumper, a fearless attack to the rim. The Celtics, riding their leader's intensity, turned up their defense as well. Jrue Holiday harassed the ball, Derrick White stole crucial moments, and Al Horford dominated the boards. Boston dominated Orlando 31-24 in the third quarter, transforming a close, tense game into a statement. Coach Joe Mazzulla heralded the surge after the game, explaining, "Jaylen set the tone. His confidence lifted everybody. That's what leaders do." And it wasn't about the numbers alone, although, wow, it was the strength of will. The Celtics not only survived sans Tatum, they flourished. And there at the focal point was Jaylen Brown playing like a guy who would never allow his team to lose. Though Jaylen Brown's 36-point outburst paced the team, the Celtics' supporting cast came through with key contributions to win Game 2. Derrick White added 17 points, filling in for Jason Tatum. White made key shots all night, keeping Boston's offense consistent whenever Orlando threatened to chip away at the lead. His scoring provided the Celtics with a much-needed secondary option behind Brown. Jrue Holiday had 11 points, as well as solid playmaking and defense. Holiday's control of the pace and timely play kept Boston calm, particularly during times when Orlando surged back. His experience was evident in key possessions, preventing the Magic from building actual momentum. Veteran big man Al Horford also played a key role, beginning in Tatum's place. Horford's presence in the post and defense leadership provided Boston with stability against the physical Magic offense, paced by Paolo Banchero. Horford's activity on the glass and interior defense helped to stifle Orlando's second-chance chances. Even with Boston's third-quarter surge, Orlando was still able to muster 24 points during the quarter and not allow the game to slip away. But Boston's 31-point third quarter, led by Brown and bolstered by solid team play, was enough to establish distance going into the fourth quarter. The depth of the Celtics was evident once more. Without their superstar, the team came together as a whole and aided Boston in clinching a 109-100 win and achieving a 2-0 series lead in the first-round series. In the fourth quarter, the Orlando Magic made a few pushes to attempt to get back in the game. Paolo Banchero, who topped Orlando with 32 points, kept attacking the basket, and the Magic demonstrated toughness. But Boston had established enough of a buffer on the strength of Jaylen Brown's third-quarter outburst to keep them at bay. Even after surrendering 24 points to the Magic during the third quarter and enduring several runs during the fourth, the Celtics remained calm. Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, and Al Horford came up with clutch plays in the closing stages to keep Boston ahead. Jaylen Brown finished the evening with a career-high playoff game at TD Garden, with 36 points on 12 of 19 overall shooting, 5 of 7 from beyond three-point distance, and 7 of 8 from the free throw. Following the victory, Boston coach Joe Mazzulla commended Brown's performance, saying that Brown had been excellent and played with great poise and leadership, particularly with Tatum not playing. Mazzulla added that Brown's confidence and capabilities to carry the offense established the tone for the rest of the team. The Celtics' defense also came into play. They kept Orlando down to a mere 100 total points and pinched the Magic into tough, contested shots through much of the second half. The 109-100 win gave Boston a decisive 2-0 edge in the best-of-7 series. The series moves to Orlando for Games 3 and 4, with the Celtics firmly in control. Jaylen Brown summed up Boston's mentality moving forward, telling reporters after the game, "We've got to stay locked in, stay together, and not take anything for granted." Boston's depth, defense, and Brown's takeover performance proved they could weather adversity and made a clear statement as they headed deeper into the postseason. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Jaylen Brown's huge Game 2 performance, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more playoff updates, highlights, and deep dives. We're covering all the biggest moments as they happen, so you don't want to miss it. Drop a comment down below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.